We read chapter 5 in the Kids Left Behind book, and our chapter was entitled Engage Parents, Communities, and Schools to Work as Partners. The first sentence in the chapter says, developing and sustaining effective partnerships between the home, the community, and the school is critical to improving the education of children and youth. This was further talked about in regards to parenting and effective partnerships with parents and helping with teaching parenting skills for the parents that we work with. Some of the bullet points on page 85 in regards to parent education, some of the ideas were to incorporate parent-provided education, so where they were almost able to, as peers, educate one another about topics that maybe they had experienced or knew quite a bit about. There was another huge shift in focus on the communication between school and home and making sure that there were multiple ways, multiple types of communications that were able to reach every parent and student's family. We also need to incorporate English language learners and families of English language learners, making sure that our communication home is translated into their home language. So some of the ways that we feel that we do this at Al Behrman is through our family fun nights. Our PBIS family fun night included sending home matrices, which, like our classroom matrices, emphasizes expectations and routines that families could use in their home. We also feel that bringing in Paul Gasser to be part of our school district, offering parenting skills and techniques, was another positive thing that we do in Baraboo. Another focus with the older children is to provide and offer information to parents and families about alcohol and other drug abuse. So we feel that that has also been another benefit that we've
I had the second part, which is improving communication with families, and it stresses that communication should share student successes and not simply focusing on their student problems. And we need to help families see that their children are effective students. And it also said that in order to foster an effective two-way communication, it is essential to establish a trusting, respectful relationship, and I feel that we do this with our family fun nights. And it also said that if families speak a different language, be sure that communication is translated, and I know we do an excellent job with that. And then there was a whole section on page 88 that tells characteristics of successful communication that's done by the National Parent-Teacher Association.
It also talked about in our chapter that a positive thing that we can do is increase school volunteer opportunities for families. And I just want to read to you a section on page 100 here about encouraging families and community members to enrich our school and classroom. And it says this: parents, families, and other community members should be used as tutors and classroom volunteers and should assist with out-of-school activities. Parents can also assist with classroom instruction and provide direct instruction on cultural issues. One thing that was brought to mind as I read this was about our procedure for volunteers and about yearly background checks and costing the district some money. So I've found in my classroom that getting those background checks back in a timely fashion has been an issue. And also that might deter families from participating in activities that we have for them, whether it be field trips or volunteering in our classroom.
Category was number 4, and that was to increase family involvement in student learning at home. After all, we've been talking about how poverty families have less vocabulary than other families, and so we need to teach our parents how they can help their children at home. I'm going to read a little blurb from page 86, Family Education. While significant family involvement typically leads to a spike in student achievement, one form of family involvement has proven primarily important. High-performing, high-poverty schools have documented that the single most effective approach to family involvement is teaching the parents and guardians how to help their children at home. You know, if we improve student achievement, can be expected when schools educate the families in specific approaches to prepare their children for school and to support teaching and learning during the evenings, the weekends, and the summer months. And some of the highlights that they also suggested was we help our parents learn how they can help their children learn to read. Talk to their children. They can ask questions about the day, about what they're reading, about their decision making. Provide stimulating environments for their children. We need to teach our parents what kind of stimulating environments we need to teach the children to be around. Encourage responsible television viewing. Be involved in their children's school as much as possible, and provide a safe, loving environment for young children.
Another thing that is very important is to build that collaboration bridge to make the family and school partnerships a positive experience. A quote from page 89 states, "When schools, families, and community groups work together to support learning, children tend to do better in school and stay in school longer and like it more." I think essentially that's what we want at the end of the day, is for school to be a positive, happy place and an experience for the kids to take part in. So it even talked about collaborating with parents on things as simple as school rules all the way to reviewing student data each term when you take reading data and math data. So I think an important thing to consider there is to make sure that the parents understand what those scores mean and how to read and interpret them. And I think that we do a good job with that by having our 3 conferences a year. We give ourselves time to explain those things to the parents so that it's not just a mysterious number that they're receiving from their
And lastly, this chapter discussed how important it is to have a community and school connection, and how important it is for schools to be perceived in a positive way by the community. And I think that's something that in Baraboo we're really working toward, and hopefully that's going to come. It's going to benefit our students here at Al Behrman so much because of the needs that we have. On page 95 there's a piece that's talking about developing full-service schools. And I think at Al Behrman we do a lot of what's already there. We feed the children, we provide clothing, psychological services to some degree, and reference children to further services if it's needed. I know our school nurse provides numerous health services. She'll find dental services for kids. You can't learn if you're hurting or you're sick, and if parents can't find the resources, it's up to us to do that. They go so far as to suggest laundry services. And you really start to think, social services, couldn't we house them somewhere here in our building? We're looking at expansions. Where better to put social services than in a school with high needs? We cooperate with the local police, with probation officers. All of this is already done, and these are things that students with strong needs, such as we see, they're here. We need to actively promote social skills, good nutrition, safety, general health. A lot of that's not done at home. That becomes our job. And I think we do so much of that already. And just to do a better job doing it, I think it's better. We also have our school community connections now, and to really work to bring in those community members, build those ties. All that is very, very important to building that positive recognition of what we do within the schools.